But when stars died so that you might leave, I sighed with relief and began to believe there is more to me to make you be. A princess with an avalanche for a heart, and a Hitchens type dad who is purely a part of a soul I fell into so as to accord your being a place to start. A place your tongue will one day learn to call home. A place with arms of a masculine energy and a shoulder that will sing you your first understanding of genuine security. Together, we will spend nights on our rooftop with a bowl of cookies peering deep into the heart of the awe-inspiring cosmos, with telescopes twice the size of daddy's splitting biceps. Human, you've always thought highly of yourself and you figured out a way of knitting a pompous purpose to your own skin. Almost as if human isn't an all too straight word imbued with a connotation. Man is simply an animal belonging to the genus Homo. And needless to say, the more ignorant you were of the world beyond your own and the mind-shaming natural ingenuity of the sheer magnitude of the universe, the easier it became for you to believe there was something of unique value to your own existence. When in actuality, you could just be one among the many. A strand engineered by natural selection that branched off on a different genetically modified pathway on the course of the evolutionary trail of speciation to a point where you locomotively adapted to put bipedalism to use. There is nothing prophetic about my utterance. It's merely an exclamation of an inevitable reality, an attestation of a brute fact. And if anything about me of lively import survives my death, or even better, if astonishingly there happens to be some sort of metaphysical afterlife beyond my last heartbeat, trust me, I'd be delighted if there was a way I could tell you about it, but as it stands, that prospect is nothing more than just a pipe dream modestly held by some honest folks as a possible assumption. And everyone who tells you otherwise is simply a softball who hasn't reconciled his mind state with the overwhelming evidence of the strong possibility that we might just be alone on this blue dot and there is no one watching. As a result, we vilified the Francis Bacons and Edwin Hubbles of our world, fighting them tooth and nail for all they saw with their own two eyes, almost as if we ourselves can't see it, and yet we just chose not to. Because of the inability to outgrow the sweet taste of Bronze Age poetry. This is a road less traveled. I'm one who grins in being a bearer of misfortune, but I'm one who groans and mourns about his place in the natural world. It's for that reason why I can safely say the mythological tales about the sun birthed in antiquity were penned down by minds ignorant of the fact that the glowing ball of light they mused about was like them, a victim of oblivion, time and edge, a god whose monstrous luminosity is like a time bomb, ticking with every passing generation into a gradual catastrophic climax. Can I paint you a picture in satisfactory gain? Write you a life in veneration, stitch your smile to the vesture of tranquility, and inscribe your beauty to the walls of my cornea? Can I touch your skin into music like Frank Sinatra's voice was cascading out my fingerprints? Simply because us, in the words of Canyon City, we broke loose to treat love like fireworks just to keep the sky amused. I'm a cataclysmic cluster of storm clouds, but you turned me into a sky full of stars. You're so smooth-tongued you spoke my servitude into royalty, and built potence and mastery from the clay mound of my frailties. You won't find any trace of familiarity in us. You won't find any trace of the usual in our consolation and love. You won't find any trace of something like a home you have always known in us. You won't find any trace of an awe-inspired fear and admiration for the supernatural, for we are those that see the visible universe for what it is and not what we wish it to be. And in the melodious voices with which our tongues sing, you will not find any trace of church bells, because we don't consider ourselves particularly redeemed or marked in our foreskin. A man whose ingenuity and intellectual muscle ignited more than admiration, but also a thunderstorm of skin-deep, antiquated, medieval-type hate. A man whose feet went against the grain amid the hostile face of Victorian rigidity, with callous honesty through a well-thought-out theory that shoved man off the throne of distinctive creation, and for the first time had him taste the feel of a sort of humility not drenched in self-aggrandizement. So if ever you take a dose of reality through intellectual inquiry, call me, look for me, ask me how I'm doing, say you want to see me, say you want us to talk, and I will come running to you with the feet of a theist chasing after purpose, because I like you. I always have. but I'm still not quite sure you ever. Look, the solitude, the gloomy hours are deafening. The novelty of walking alone and frightening. There is a bonus to the venture that a few take. A headspace that is deviant, to say the least. A life lived in the belly of a brute beast. Cause if you see the world for what it is, it's really strange. I can understand why many rearrange the storyline to fit in with something fine. Now I'm not the type to do that kind of funny thing, but there are those whose character was born out of nobility. Those whose defiance is the light that illuminates their pathway through the dense tunnel their knees bleed through as they crow their peculiarity out of deceit. Those who with ease can simply see that behind every theodicy, proposition or theocracy there is a primate brain about the same size as yours. And there are those like Hitchens and like me, who can confidently retort when shit hits the proverbial fan, it's good to be us.